Good morning, I'm Tohya and today I'm going to be talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. To me, personally, this is my favorite game in the series and I'd love to share it with you guys. Starting off with the characters, we have Rex, Nia, Tora, Morag, and lastly, Zeke. I know there's a Blades too, but I'll probably talk about all the rare ones in a Blade specific video. This video contains spoilers on the entire game of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm going to be going over the main story beats, side quests, character motives, and more. So you've been warned. I'm going to go into a brief story and character summary and analysis before going into my personal thoughts on the game. As for gameplay, that will be in a separate video. Now let's begin. Rex is the protagonist of this game, and he is a young salvager who is looking for work when he suddenly finds himself in the middle of a conflict over a rare blade named Pyra. Throughout the game, they show Rex's love for his family, as you can see him sending money to them as soon as you reach the trade guild. Rex is originally from the Leftherian archipelago, which is why he was able to free Pyra from her seal. He starts off as this young, almost naive boy who doesn't really know what he got himself into, but moving through the game, we learn that he is full of courage and fights for the people who matter to him. I personally really enjoyed Rex as the protagonist. I know a lot of people didn't like seeing someone so young compared to like Shulk, who seems more of like an adult. But to me, Rex is a good take on growing up and believing in your dreams. And he dreams of finding Elysium to save the dying world he lives in. And yes, there will be sacrifices along the way, but I find that it's just another aspect of growing up. Nia. Nia is the main heroine of the story, and a strong one at that. She's this Gormonti girl who's sort of mysterious. She starts off with the main antagonists, Malus and Jin, in their search for Pyra, but she goes off with Rex soon after. Her backstory is left as a mystery, but eventually is revealed that she herself is a blade. And as a flesh eater, she is a mix of blade and human. It's not until the end of the game where she reveals herself to be a blade. However, the twist isn't what makes her character. Nia's a smart and strong girl who is always ready to put Rex in his place when she thinks he's being childish. She also has a softer side too, which is a breath of fresh air, and I really thought it balanced her out. While Nia isn't my favorite character in the cast, especially to play, but I did really enjoy her throughout the story. Tora is a mascot of the game, and to be honest, probably my least favorite addition to the cast. But there's a reason to that. While he isn't bad, and his story is that he was born without the ability to have a blade, and he works towards getting a blade throughout the game. Well, throughout the beginning of the game. But that's the issue. Well, I often find myself comparing him to Ricky from Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and when you remove the like perverted remarks and the awkward, pervy like whole scenarios that make his character, if you remove all that, it makes his character a little bit better. One huge gripe I have with Tora is the backstory behind his artificial blade Poppy. As I was saying, his parents, his grown parents made a child blade for reasons they say, and it's just awkward and it's not fun to really listen to. Like, I do like Tora, though I like his blade weirdly more. Like, I know I trash on Poppy sometimes, but she's a lot better developed than Tora is. Especially if you were to remove all of his pervy subtext. Not to say the fan service is bad, because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a lot of fan service. It's just poorly written, and there's a lot of it. Morag. Morag is one of Rex's mentors in the game. When first introduced, Morag is this unstoppable blade wielder from the Empire of Moradine. She wields this legendary blade known as Bridget. She is first introduced in Gormont and is a recurring character until she eventually joins the party. You see her storyline is all about the fall of her empire, which she is the military head of. Moradine is a tyrant on the brink of death, and the land is becoming a desert, and it's hard for the people to live on to survive. So they're sending people, refugees, to other titans such as Gormont. I really liked Morag's character, and I think she is a great addition to the cast. Zeke. Zeke is the last and comedic release character, and my favorite of the cast. I really enjoyed how he and his blade Pandoria pop in and out of the story for a while as they join the party. They're like these random antagonists who are chasing the party for Pyra, They always fail though, just makes it funnier. I wish he had some deeper plot, which they tried to do with his Kingdom of Tantal stuff. But I just wish he was more involved and wasn't so late in the story. Maybe I'm just biased though, because he was really awesome. Like him being a Blade Eater, because when he was on the brink of death and Midoriya saving him was really cool to see. And his scar on his chest, which hinted at the whole situation, and like the mystery behind it, until it's revealed that it's Pandoria's blade core inside him, was just really cool, and I really enjoyed that whole storyline. Definitely cool to see. Moving on to Chapter 1, Encounters. The game starts off with Rex in the middle of the Cloud Sea as he salvages Witch's job. As he and his Titan friend head to the Argentum Trade Guild, they tell a story of the World Tree, a tree where everyone lived on the top of paradise. One day, they were sent off to supposedly the architect to live on the Cloud Sea. They create Titans to help those survive on the Cloud Sea. However, now the Titans are dying out, and it's only a matter of time before there's nowhere left to live. Rex eventually makes his way to the Trade Guild, and makes his trade where he sends half of his profits to his family back in the Leftherian archipelago. The chairman of the guild asks for Rex by name due to him being from Fontaine Village, and offers a big reward for the job. Here he meets Nia, Malice, and Jin, the others who will be accompanying him. There are drivers and blades who are looking for a salvager from Fontaine Village. On the way to their mission, Rex explains that he's a salvager to look for the way into Elysium, which is at the top of the World Tree. Rex and Nia have a nice heart-to-heart and about their dreams, and the mission begins. When they finally reach the door, it only opens to Rex. As it opens, it reveals a young pink-haired female blade named Pyra. As he touches the sword, Jin pierces his chest with his sword and kills Rex. Rex then dreams of Pyra in a place she calls Elysium. She explains her world is merely a memory, and that the true Elysium lies at the top of the World Tree. She then gives him half of her life force to save him from death, in a deal for him to help her reach Elysium once more. Rex, Malice, and Jin eventually fight, causing Nia to pick a side. After she ends up picking Rex, the ship goes down and the group gets separated, causing the fight to end and Rex and Nia to flee. I only went through one chapter because I didn't want to ruin the whole game, as I'm already talking a lot about the game and I'm hyping it up as this like my favorite game ever. Not ever, but like one of my favorite games ever. You know, it is one of my favorite games. And I just really hope as many people play and buy the game as I enjoyed it. Moving on, my personal thoughts about the game. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is an amazing game and my personal favorite in the series. The amount of stories and characters in the game is crazy. When I was a wee lad, I had played this game first in the series, but after seeing the amazing trailer in the Nintendo Direct. From then on, it was like childhood wonder. Although I will say most people's complaints about the game being slow is what also stopped me in the beginning, as I and many others did not get the combat at first. Well, I wouldn't say it's more so the combat. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's more so the combat starts off slow, and by chapter 2 or 3, they finally explain it to a point where I feel the game becomes fun. Once you get to the late game, I feel like the game has some of the best combat in the series, and it's just slowly learning and understanding what you're playing in comparison to like games like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, where the game does a way better job of explaining the combat and doesn't feel as slow. Whereas with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, obviously for the first couple chapters, you're gonna have this like slow combat. Moving on to the story. The story is, well, let's just say goofy. I like it, but I was rewatching cutscenes of the video for the video, and I couldn't help but laugh at some of the cutscenes because they're just so like weird and goofy. Some of the humor hits though, and some of it doesn't. I would say like personally, the fan service humor in this game just wasn't funny to me, and like many others. Nothing wrong with low fan service in games because that's what sells some games. But like 2 is like filled to the brim with it, and it just feels unnecessary in some points. On the other parts I did like, but I'm going to go more in depth in the second video about the legendary blades in this video. But the legendary blades in this game were awesome. Each had their own story, and it was cool to see so many different blades and unique characters designs to play. Some better than others though. Ursula. Well, hers isn't bad. It's not. It's genuinely not bad. It's just it's she's one of my favorite blades. Like I got her in the beginning and I really liked playing her, but it was like honestly just having to do her mercenary missions like a million times, and I didn't understand how to do it like, effectively. And like honestly, just look it up. Just look up Ursula guide. She's one of the funnest blades I liked early game. If you don't buy the DLC, and she's great. Anyways, um, moving on to the end, I believe Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one of the best visually and story-wise games on the Switch. Between the main story, side quests, blade quests, DLC, the DLC story, and more. I think there's so much depth and value in this game. And I really hope that the video has shown you just how much I love this game and how much depth there is to it. Now that the video's over, please leave a like and comment your thoughts on the game. Or any other games that you'd like to see me talk about. I have a couple in mind, such as like Final Fantasy 15, so there's just so many I want to cover. I don't want to cover anything new because like I feel like while that's a great way to get a bigger audience, I just don't think I have the attention span to cover a game that's I haven't already played, and I don't have the like I'm not fast enough to play a game such as like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom right now because I'm playing it, but I don't know if I can cover it anytime soon. And be sure to subscribe if you liked the video and you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you. Have a nice day.